onto the ASIC register, you say, I'm issuing $1 million new shares, that's whatever we had on the previous thing here, that were not there before. You are not taking your shares and doing anything with them. In some limited circumstances, you can sell your shares into it, but that would be a small part of your shares, and it would be quite rare, and it would be a large amount of money you're dealing with. If you're dealing with an IPO, that's a different situation, but that's a whole different kettle of fish. But generally speaking, when you raise capital, imagine the investor, if you think about it from their perspective, they're giving the company, they're giving the money to the company, they're not giving the money to you. They want the company to take this money and thrive and hire more people, do more marketing, create more product, whatever not. They don't want to give you a pay rise or pay back your loan or something like that. So generally speaking, for those of you that have loans, like say if we were working directly with you to do the capital raise, one of the things that's a requirement is that that loan is converted into equity before the capital raise. Because say that you borrowed or you lend a company $500,000 out of your personal account, the investor's going to go, well, I can't just give you the money because legally you can take that money right out of the company the very next day and say, well, thank you very much, I just got $500,000 back into my account. Oh, right. And the investor's going to go, that's not funny. So they would just say, well, sorry, but you know, you can obviously write an agreement around the fact that you're going to be buying. You don't necessarily have to convert it to equity, but it's got to be somehow downed so it just doesn't flow back. They can, again, there's a lot of variations to this, so that could be, well, I have to pay back $50,000 of that 500K because it's blah, 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 and the investor like, oh yeah, whatever, just take the money and don't tell anyone, right? But it's just like, if it's a large amount of money, a large proportion of what they're putting in, they would obviously have issues with that for fairly obvious reasons, I think. Does this make sense? I know this is obviously a totally hypothetical constructed example, but it's the same numbers that were in the previous chart that we had about an hour ago. It's the same proportions as we issued. I did my stuff in Excel to make sure that I wasn't making shit up here. Okay, so this is the most fun part of the whole evening. This is what you've been waiting for, patiently sitting there, typing on your laptops and keyboards and writing on your notepads. What the hell do you want to get out of this? And I know some of you are not getting into this business because you want to have necessarily an economic or a pure economic outcome. Thank goodness most of you are actually doing this because you want to run a great business. However, there isn't anything wrong with still taking a step back from running a great business and making 1 million people happier, or whatever the business is going to achieve, to look back and reflect and say, okay, so if I'm going to dedicate the next 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years of my life on this thing, what do I want to get out of it? I'm not asking you to become selfish bastards. I'm just asking you to look after yourselves because you deserve to be looked after. So what is your target? You don't need to tell me here, it might be a bit too embarrassing. But really, what the hell is that number? If there was a magic number, what would you pay? That's your NLP coach for that. Define in dollars. Don't define it in something that's too fluffy-tuffy. Define a date and a year. Oh yeah, I just want to make $10 million. Okay, well that's fine. Well, you have another 55 years worth of lifespan, so $10 million divided to that. Yeah, that's okay. That's $200,000 a year. We can do that. That's not that, right? Oopsie. Oh, did I just do that, right? So it's easy to basically shoot yourself in the foot with this. Feel ridiculous, at least for a moment. It's a good old saying, if you shoot for the stars, you land on the moon. Well, guess what? If you shoot for Burke Street Mall, which is about 40 meters away from here, you're not going to get very far. Oops. And some of you may not like this, but stick it up on the wall. Maybe you stick it as a screensaver on a computer. Maybe you write a check to yourself, put it in your wallet. Lots of different people have different ways of doing this. I don't really care which method you do for keeping this at the top of your mind. But where this is important is not the amount, whether you achieve this amount. Why this becomes important is the following. You're going to make a lot of decisions every day, every year, for the next X number of years until you finish with this business, until you start the next one. Some of those decisions will support that number, some of those decisions will not support that number. And there will be a number of times where you need to ask yourself, okay, this decision I'm about to make, oh shit, that doesn't help. And so you should really question yourself why you're making that decision. Why are you spending time on this? Why are you hiring that person? Why are you trying to achieve that? Why are you making that next sale? Why are you doing all of these kind of things? Because if that doesn't stack up against what the hell you're trying to do, you need to ask yourself whether you still are sane. And if you're not sane, you should see someone. Speak from personal experience. You didn't know I came out of the asylum? Just kidding. But really, this is not an exercise about, hey, I want to get $10 million because I want to do blah, blah, blah. Yes, it is important to have a number because the number is what in these economics that's inside a business called spreadsheets and accounting systems and Xero and MyUp, and that's what that's going to produce. That's what an investor eventually is going to give you when they buy the business. Okay. But it's a decision-making tool that will basically be able to guide you every single day. And here is where this becomes really, 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 really important. You probably never thought about it in this way. So, I'll give you an example. Let's take two business owners. Call them, for the sake of anonymity, let's call them 1 and 2. We could call them Sue and John, but somebody might be offended, right? But say these two business owners, they make decisions in different ways. So the decision, the first person up here, they make what I would call small decisions. Oops, there's a bit many L's there. This one here makes big decisions. So obviously this has a risk, and this has a risk. Now, a lot of people will argue that, oh, well, if I make a bigger decision, there's therefore a bigger risk associated with that, and I will argue against that. There is no evidence statistically whatsoever that bigger businesses fall over more often than smaller businesses. There's actually evidence to the contrary, at least if you're going to believe the economists from the government, right? The small business fatality rate is fucking astronomical. The big business fatality rate, last I checked, is not that huge. Ouch. So therefore, part of this thing here, I'll get to you in a second, is there's a long train of argument here. In many cases, we need to think about if we're going to achieve something, then we need to think thoughts of a certain size. So if, like, let's for argument's sake, I say I want to walk away with $25 million, and I want to walk away with $25 million down here. So we actually have the same target. I'm just trying to make it really hard for ourselves here. But every time I make a decision in this, I'm going to get a little bit towards a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher, and then we have a bit of a downturn, we have a little bit higher. But there's no way I'll ever get up to that because I'm not leveraging the business, not building enough structure, I didn't spend the money and time hiring the right team, and all those kind of things. All the things we already talked about in the last hour and a half. Whereas over here I go, fuck, I'm going to get that shit, that's a big goal, and maybe I only own 18% of my business, so that means the business therefore needs to be worth, oh god, that's a lot of money. Whoa, shit. So I need to make a freaking huge decision here, and okay, I'm going to make that big decision, I'm going to convince our investors around getting that much money. I need to have not just an A player, I need to have an A team, otherwise the investors will never buy my gig. And so it forces a different kind of thinking, which is what I'm trying to get to here. And the problem here is that a lot of us go, well, I'm just going to get to $25 million, this is all mine. But the reality is that we just seen that you end up reality not owning most of your own business. And that's just the way it goes. And it probably goes that way regardless of whichever scenario you follow. So therefore, generally speaking, we need to think bigger thoughts. Thinking bigger thoughts take a little bit longer, they're a bit more complex, they require more documentation, you've got to take your keyboards up, but a lot of you are obviously very keyboard savvy because I see more than 10 keyboards out here, which is a good sign, right? And, you know, it requires, bless you, requires documentation, all that kind of stuff. But with that, you can build a bigger thing. You're going to engage a bigger team, you're going to have a bigger marketing budget, you're going to have a bigger brand. So this creates a problem like, does that mean I need to have a lot more money to start my business, which by the way I don't have right now? So that's why you need to have better friends, right? So now imagine that you decided one of the, we talked about how we create more value in the business earlier. So one of them was brand, reputation, right? Brand, reputation, brand. Others argue that brand is expensive, because it is. If you want to get a good brand, you don't get much small change out of $25,000. If you're going to get a good consumer brand, think 50. That's the price of a decent brand in Australia. So you might go, oh, I haven't got $50,000 for a brand, are you fucking kidding me? Well, maybe it's time to go and schmooze a brand person, right? Take them out for coffee, lunch, dinner, because it's going to be a lot cheaper than giving you $50,000. To the point where they're going to go, I love your project so much, I'll freaking do it for free, give me 2% of the shares. Or give me nothing, I just want to do it, it'll be my case for the next 5 years, I want to make a statement out of your business. Now you got something. Do you see what I mean? Better friends? I'm not saying that your current friends are bad, I'm just saying it requires an upgrade. Because this is big stuff.